Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be doing a book review, which is unusual because I never really do book reviews, but I decided to start doing them. So this is the first in a series of book reviews on the channel I will cover. I guess you could say I've done some in the past, like Bunny vs. Monkey, but they're like rankings. This is like actually a review of the series. So this is today I'm going to be reviewing the first arc of Horrorland, or Goosebumps Horrorland books. So first 12 books in the series. Yeah, ignore the Funko Pops at the side. These are just there to hold them up because they always fall. Like I would move them away, they just fall instantly, so that's why it's there. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this review. So there are 12 books in this first arc, like this overall arching story. So we have Revenge of the Living Dummy, Creep from the Deep, Monster Blood for Breakfast, The Screamer of the Haunted Mask, Dr. Maniac vs. Robbie Swartz, Who's Your Mummy, My Friends Call Me a Monster, Season Die Screaming, Welcome to Capsulator, Help We Have Strange Powers, Escape from Horrorland, and The Streets of Panic Park. I only had the first 10 books. I came in the box that I got a few years back, and then I just got the remaining 2 I needed from a website called Book Depository. If you notice these are smaller, it's because these are like the American prints. The first 10 are like the UK ones, and yeah, it's just gonna fall over. Yeah, the first 10 have 2 segments of the book, so just for example, if I grab Revenge of the Living Dummy, there is the first segment, which is the actual main story, Revenge of the Living Dummy, and then that story covers basically maybe, for example, the first, 100 or 90 pages, and then it goes into a second segment of the book, which is Enter Horrorland, which is where a story shifts to like the Horrorland location and focuses on the character at Horrorland. So yeah. That's the same for the first 10 books. The first 10 books all have the same, thing going in them. The actual story, and then Into Horrorland. The last 2 books, Escape from Horrorland and The Streets of Panic Park, don't have them because it's told in the perspective of Luke and Lizzie Morris. So, or more Lizzie Morris than Luke. But yeah, it's told in Lizzie Morris' perspective. So there's no Into Horrorland. It's just one main whole story. But yeah, so the first 10 is where we get to know the characters. So in number 1, you get Brittany and Molly, 2 friends. You get Billy, Gina Deep, and Creep from the Deep, which obviously they're some of the characters actually I forgot to mention are actually taken from the original Goosebumps books. Like example, Billy and Gina Deep are originally obviously featured in Deep Trouble, and they're in Creep from the Deep. They have Monster Blood for Breakfast. There's character called Matt in that book. He's introduced. So yeah, as I said, some are entirely brand new original characters, some are just taken from the original series. Like for example, another one of these original characters from the original books is Carly Beth and her best friend Sabrina from the Haunted Mask books, and this is just the Screamer Haunted Mask. Then we have Robbie Swartz in this book. We have Abby Martin, I'm pretty sure her name is in this book. Michael Monroe in this book. Julie in this book, I'm pretty sure. A character called Boone Dixon in this book. And then the last book has a pair of twins called Jillian and Jackson, who get special powers here. And then of course don't have any new characters introduced in this book. I guess I'd also like to talk about the villains now. Yeah, obviously each book has the protagonist and going against an antagonist. Obviously we have iconic Goosebumps villain Slappy in the first Horrorland book. The second one has got this zombie pirate captain called Captain Ben, I'm pretty sure. The third one of course has got Monster Blood and their iconic Goosebumps thing from the original classic series. Haunted Mask again, classic thing from the original series. Dr. Maniac in this book, and it's obviously I think this is actually his debut book, like his first book he was in. He's appeared in a few books since then. Who's Your Mummy? Of course the generic mummy. And yeah. My friends call me monster. A bunch of aliens who hatch eggs in their houses. They're aliens pretending to be teachers, and then they hatch eggs in their houses, and then the eggs are full of these monsters, And then if you drink egg yolk, you'll turn into a monster. But then if you drink it again, you reverse the effects, and you turn back into human. The camera that causes a bad thing to happen, and Season Die Screaming. Just a bunch of talking snakes in this one. And then this one you get a guy, a little like a weird scientist guy called Dr. Cranium in this book. So yeah. But those were just villains, like, in their own separate little books. But the main antagonist of the entire, like, first 12 books, the entire, like, this kind of first arc of the series is the Menace. And he's finally featured in the final book, The Streets of Panic Park. I actually quite like the Menace. I quite like how, like, the kind of villain he is. He's like, kind of like a psychopath. He's really, like, he's not okay. He's, like, insane. And he likes seeing kids scared. He likes seeing kids fight. He's kind of basically, like, yeah, a sociopath. It's just really crazy, that the Menace. I really like that. I really like his traits and stuff, his personality. He's a really dark Goosebumps villain, especially. And these last two books, the first 10 are not that bad, but then it gets kind of dark in the 11 and 12. It really does, but it's really, really good. I quite like it. So, yeah, and I like how Panic Park is, like, you know, teased throughout the first 10, and then they finally find out about it. They finally escape to it. They think that's the safe place, and they escape to it in some escape to it in the 10th, and everyone else escapes to it in the 11th book. And then when they finally enter it in the 11th book, they see it's not that safe, and it's a trick. And of course, the horror who's been tricking them all along is Byron, who is obviously not working on their side. He's working for the Menace, in fact. And yeah, and it all comes together in the Streets of Panic Park. It's actually a really smart plan. I quite like it. So, obviously, the Menace, once the villains were defeated in these separate books, the Menace offered them a chance for revenge, so they came to him, and then they've been working for the Menace all along. And then, yeah, they have to, like, face off against the Menace in the last two books, or more like the 12th book. In fact, so yeah. I also quite like the chemistry between these 14 kids that are invited to Horrorland as very special guests, and yeah, the chemistry is very nice between them all, and it's quite fun reading about them and stuff like that. And then, like, you get to read about them in their own separate stories, and then you see them together in the Horrorland part. So yeah, and I like how they're all introduced, and then they're put together. And then also I quite like how each book ends with a cliffhanger or a twist ending, and then you want to read the next book to see what happens. For example, in it's just a random one, but say she doesn't die screaming, the kids have purple vines growing out of their hands, and then they're getting suffocated. And then you see it continued in Welcome to Camp Slither, where Boone arrives and saves them. So that's quite cool. I like how obviously the stories are all continuous, and yeah, and then it just leads on until you finally read it and it all makes sense in the last book. It's really, really cool in my opinion. And yeah, that is just one of the main things I really like about the series as well. And like, there's also many mysteries around these books as well, and like you're confused about this until you read the other books until it makes sense. Like, why does Horrorland have no mirrors, and like why are they not safe in Horrorland? Like, it's just really a sense of mystery that I really like about these books, and the continuous story over them, and like the elements of scare and surprise and cliffhangers and twists. Obviously, as always, Arsenal is always great at doing these kind of things. Truly one of the greatest horror authors of all time, and why he basically is my favourite author of all time. I'll say that. But yeah, and for the actual stories now, the books itself, they're all fun to read, but there's some better ones and there's some bad ones, I guess. They're like weaker ones. So the first four, I will say, they're pretty strong. It starts off pretty strong in the Horrorland series. 5 is still good. I did enjoy 5 a bit, like the whole comic book character aspect of it, but some parts felt pretty slow and like boring. The 6th one, again, it's just another mummy book. We've got a lot of mummy books before, and like Goosebumps, nothing new. I didn't really find, to be honest, My Friend's Common Monster all that interesting. I'm being honest, like, it wasn't that, like, I mean, aliens invading Earth, hatching eggs, and pretending to be teachers at a middle school. It's just kind of, it seems like something we've gotten before. It's just like nothing interesting. Same with Teachers and Die Screaming. I like the characters in it, and like I like how the camera's back. But again, we've seen it in Teachers and Die. We've seen it in Teachers and Die again. It's just, yeah. Same with Welcome to Camp Slither. I didn't really enjoy this one. This was a really boring book. Just another camp book, and there's nothing interesting about it. Maybe like the second bit, the Enter Horrorland bit's quite good, but the actual book where you see Boone is introduced and then he goes to Camp Slither, it's just not. That's just really boring. I did quite enjoy though. Help We Have Strange Powers. This is a really fun book. I like how I like the Gillian Jackson as characters and Dina and Archie. And then how they get special mysterious powers, and then it finds out that it was given to them by the Menace, and Dr. Cranium and all that stuff is really good. And then these last two books are no brainers. These are fantastic. There's nothing really that bad about them. Escape from Horrorland, like first entering Panic Park and seeing what it's like, and then they go through the Midnight Maze and all that stuff, and then just the final book reveals everything you wanted to know, everything you've just been confused at, like throughout all these past books. And then it comes together. Really, I've said this a lot in the review, but it's just really cool. And The Streets of Panic Park is an excellent finale to this arc, in my opinion. I like how all the kids and villains team up to defeat the Menace. And yeah, it's just really great. And yeah, and I don't really have a favourite book, I guess, if you could say, in this particular franchise. They're all great, really, apart from maybe 7, 8, and 9. But like, in terms of the actual story, like the actual like Panic Park, focus arc, it's all great, and I really enjoyed reading these 12 books. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review on my Goosebumps Horrorland review. I'm currently reading the second arc, the Jonathan Chiller arc of Horrorland books, so basically 13 to 19. I'll do a review, and then when I'm finished reading them, currently just started for when they go slow kills. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like and comment, subscribe to further studies if you want to, and until next video,